it was just a freak accident. It wasn't preventable, it was just what happened. It just was the situation. Fortunately, I didn't break my neck, I didn't break any bones, I didn't break my back, I didn't break anything. I got a diffuse axonal injury, so I got a traumatic brain injury. I came out of post-traumatic amnesia. I was in that for 42 days, which is quite severe. It put my brain injury in the severe to catastrophic category. One of the very first things I asked was when I could go back to riding.
Leroy is a 25-year-old standard bred bay. He is a very gentle soul. He likes people. He's a character. We think Leroy might not want to be working when he refuses to work, when he refuses to walk on. We will get him tacked up and ready for work and bring him down to the arena and walk him around. But when we put the rider on and ask him to walk forward, he just refuses. He's saying no. I got involved with Riding for the Disabled because I was a special ed teacher. I have got a master's degree in education with people with emotional behaviour disturbances. And that experience when I had my own horses and taking my class out to the horses, that was the most life-changing thing that I could see with those children. I'm just going to get you to we'll just put him in the middle paddock. I don't think there's any red dirt to roll in.
Okay, all right.
To actually teach them to be in the world confidently with other people is good to get them out into the world. And when I did that with horses, they connected with the horses, and then because they had that connection with the horse, they seemed to have the confidence to connect with the people who were around the horse, and they started to communicate. And then from that, they build up their communication in the wider world.
Well, when we go down, we'll get your helmet out.
He is a joy. He is a joy to have, and he's certainly taught us a lot. It's been a life-changing experience having a child with additional needs. It's been coming to riding for about a year now, and you can see the progress he's made actually from when he first started. He still does have a bit of separation anxiety, and it took a little while to work up, but now he just loves coming. He's loved coming from the day dot, but he just finds such joy in coming here. He loves Sparky, riding the horses, but he has a really good rapport with the volunteers as well.
Ready to go?
At the moment, he's in what I'm calling semi-retirement. He's been working for us for about 6 years, and he's been a fantastic horse for RDA. He's very gentle, very calm, and very reliable. But in recent months, he's becoming a little bit harder to motivate, and he's happy to work for a shorter time. So we've sort of been adapting his lessons. And what he does is he'll start nibbling on the lead rope and basically stop and not want to go too far. And then he tilts his head on a little angle and looks me right in the eye, and as if to say, thanks, I've had a good time, but that's it, I'm not doing any more.
He's always been pretty obliging. He was always happy to go along with most things and try most things, and we used to take him on the beach and ride through the bush, and he had one go at chasing cows, mustering, but he was a dismal failure at that. He would have been about 2-year-old. Leroy was actually born a twin. His twin brother didn't survive at birth. But Leroy grew up, he was always a little bit smaller because he was a twin, but he still got to be a decent size for racing, and I brought him down here as a yearling down to New South Wales to Grafton. Yeah, basically broke him in on the streets of South Grafton and around dogs and kids and cars and whatnot. So he started all his riding and pulling a sulky down there around South Grafton. Down here, he wasn't being used much. My boys, I got 3 boys, and they weren't that keen on riding, so he might only get ridden twice a year or so. And I knew that he was really safe and trustworthy. My youngest fellow could go and get on him in the paddock and just, you know, do whatever he needed to do with him and that. And I'd been doing the dental work at the RDA for several years, and then I heard that they were needing quiet horses, and I thought, you know, what a great opportunity for Leroy to be able to go and, you know, he'd get much more grooming and, you know, good care up there, and I knew he'd be a good horse, sort of suitable for what they needed.
I've always sort of seen Leroy as like a comic cartoon. I could see him in a cartoon. He just brings joy. I guess you just see him galloping around the paddock with the other horses, and his legs are going here, there and everywhere. It's quite comic. It's like a comedy horse. I've been coming up here since about 1995 from Sydney and loved it. And I had a real feeling up here, so in 2005 I moved up from Sydney. And I heard Beatrice on the radio asking for volunteers, so that's when I started coming up here.
And just walk around.
I've always loved being around horses. I suffer from anxiety and depression, and they just empower me with all of that. And it's just lovely to be working with them. I think for the RDA riders, oh my God, they just get so much joy from it. You can just see it in their faces. See the improvement in little boys like Emmett. You know, when he went launched on that horse, on that pony for the first time, Sparky, he just, you know, sat straight in the saddle, and he just loves it. It's amazing to see.
Physically, you know, it helps with balance and the core strength. I think that it helps in learning, you know, just general learning as well. You know, they take him around the rink and they show him all the different shapes, and you learn best when you're having fun, and he's having fun on the horse, and so he's learned. I credit them to the volunteers to helping him learn his shapes, especially because I was having trouble with that, but he seemed to really do quite well out here. I guess we try and do as much as possible in these younger years. You know, there's always more that I think that I can do. But you know, he gets a lot from what he does. He is, in particular, I really just love the horse riding.
Whee! Up in the air.
Well, I certainly hope he'll be staying here and enjoying the rest of his life here. That would be my wish.
When Leroy doesn't want to work, he retires to the paddock and is left to eat grass. But we would still bring him in, we'd still groom him, and we'd still connect with him several times a week, but he just wouldn't be asked to work with any clients. However, he could be asked to work with clients that don't want to ride, because he's excellent. Like, he could be standing next to a wheelchair just quietly with his head on someone's shoulder. I mean, that is work. That's what he would be doing.